Hello, my name is Patrick Brown from the great city of Brampton. It has been a privilege to lead our development of our 2024 city budget. And this budget is all about building a blueprint for a Brampton advantage. This budget prioritizes critical investments in areas like transit, healthcare, recreation, community safety, environment, roads, and infrastructure. And I had a friend who told me when I became mayor, remember that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen more than you talk if you want to be a good public servant. And that's the approach we've done with this budget. We have listened and listened relentlessly. We've had a teletown hall with 5,000 households. We've had coffee chats with residents in every corner of the city, business roundtables, opportunities for the public to share their feedback. And we have heard the public's feedback, and this budget reflects the public's feedback. I am proud to announce that this budget delivers a record contribution to reserves and the lowest tax increase in the GTA amongst all municipalities in the GTA at 1.9%. And I understand why this is important. You know, we have ambitions as a city, but as we approach the city budget, we really looked at it from the lens of that senior who's living on a fixed budget, a family struggling to make ends meet as we see inflation and interest rates that are extremely high. We know the pressures that families are facing, and it's why for every budget ask, we looked at, is that an ask that is absolutely necessary for the functioning of the city, or is it a nice to have addition? So we have a budget that really is frugal with taxpayer dollars. I'm going to share with you that there are some pressure points that we have made important investments. And because we found savings in our budgetary process, we've been able to not only deliver what is the lowest tax increase in the GTA, but we've been able to make some strategic investments in very important areas. So when I said we listened and listened relentlessly, one example of that is transit. I got on the bus with our transit manager on the busiest routes in the city, and we heard concerns about buses being packed. We're the fastest growing transit system in the country. And there's far too many buses that are full where transit riders can't get on. For that reason, one of our most significant investments in this year's budget is into public transit. We are adding a record 136 new transit operators and more than 108,000 service hours on addition. This is an unprecedented boost to public transit in Brampton. We understood that was a pain point for a transit system that was surging in ridership. I also want to note that one concern I heard from our town halls was about public safety. Our regional budget is responsible for public safety. Of course, we've already announced there'll be 135 additional new police officers and a major increase to the civilians that work at our 911 facility. But on a local level, we're also making some strategic investments to help with public safety. We're hiring new enforcement officers, bylaw officers. We're providing additional security in the downtown. But I think what is most innovative is we're using technology to help with public safety. So we are growing the number of automated speed enforcement cameras from 50 to 150. And so if you're going to speed in a school zone or a park where there's children, you're going to get a big fat ticket. So be warned, reckless driving will not be tolerated in Brampton. On top of that, we are adding, and this is unique, and I think this is going to be something that will be replicated across the country, we're adding 50 high-resolution cameras at key intersections in coordination with the Peel Police. And why this is so important is, you probably recall, a number of years ago, we added CCTV cameras to the 403 and the 410. It was done at a time that we noticed there was targeted shootings on those highways. And ever since we added the cameras, those shootings stopped. Just like we haven't seen shootings on the 407 because there are cameras. Don't underestimate how sophisticated organized crime is. And our goal in Brampton is to make this city the most inconvenient place for criminal organizations to operate. By having these cameras at the key intersections identified by the police, they will have the investigative capacity and digital evidence to make sure people that commit crimes in our community will be held accountable and brought to justice. We are building a Brampton advantage on public safety. We're also making major investments in recreation. in recreation, we're big believers that you want to reduce the reliance on the healthcare system. You enable the residents to be active, to lead active, healthy lifestyles. And so we're bringing in new ice rinks, kabaddi, junior cricket fields, artificial turf at our schools, renovations to Victoria Park and Balmoral Recreation Centre. And we're also starting the process of building the largest new community centre in Brampton, the Embleton Community Centre. And so what is exciting about that is that's preventative healthcare. By encouraging active, healthy lifestyles, we hope to change behaviors, make it easy for whatever sport you love to fall in love with that sport, to stay active, to stay healthy. This budget also includes a commitment to healthcare. And I know healthcare is not a municipal responsibility, but the way the funding formula works in Ontario, unless you step up with your local share, you'll not get the provincial portion. And whether you agree with that or not, the test has been put to us. We need to come up with a 10% share to get our second hospital built. And so we do have a healthcare levy in our budget, a 1% healthcare levy, because we don't want there to be any reason to delay the construction of our second hospital. If there's ever a city that needs that second hospital, it's ours, and we're stepping up with our local share. So when I look at our budget, I look at a budget that builds a Brampton advantage in the key areas, whether it's healthcare, public safety, economic development, but does so in a manner that respects taxpayers. By having the lowest tax increase in the GTA, we are building upon that advantage. We now have among the lowest tax rates in the GTA. When I started 5 years ago, we had among the highest. I want to create an environment in Brampton where it's the best place to bring new investment. It's the best place to grow a company, to hire. We want to build that momentum, and we're starting to see it. You look at the major new investments, the Magna battery plant, the MDA in aerospace. You look at the Pet Value, the largest facility in Canada. You look at Lululemon, the largest new facility in North America. We're seeing economic development momentum, but to maintain that Brampton advantage, we need to be competitive on taxes, and this budget helps with that. Our budget deliberations will start on Tuesday, December 5th. And I encourage the public, today we're releasing this document, but don't hesitate to come to City Hall to make a deputation. Council will be deliberating this budget, and we welcome more input. We've got a lot of input, but the more the merrier, because I'm a big believer, the more minds looking at this budget, the better ideas we're going to have to serve all of you. So that officially starts at 9:30 a.m. On December 5th, and I really believe we're building a budget that creates a Brampton advantage for families, for seniors, for students, for businesses, and for the next generation in our city. So that's our update on my first budget with the new provincial legislation where the mayor develops the budget, and I think this will be a budget that will move the city forward in an exciting manner. So on that note, I'd be happy to answer any questions that the media who have called into this call may have. And I see our first question is Nitin Chopra from Prime Asia TV.
Good morning, Mayor. Thank you very much. Mayor, every day, you already mentioned that in your this budget speech. Every day we see break-ins. It's not carjacking. Carjacking is there, but break-ins, invasions inside the homes midnight. And we remember that during elections, you promised that you want to work on police chief's wish list, more officers, more 911 police civilian staff. And did you entertain that, your wish list, chief's wish list in this budget? And also, you were the biggest advocate for the bail reforms, because how much budget we give to the police, but final comes to the bail reforms. And you wrote a letter to the minister. Did you heard anything from the federal government on bail reform also? Thank you.
So on that front, the police chief's wish list is presented at regional council, and I'm proud to report that we have attended to every one of the chief's asks. I have said very clearly, if you give the police the resources to do their job, they will have success in bringing those culprits, criminal organizations to account. The chief this year is getting 135 new officers, major new civilian investments in investigative capacity and our 911 operations. On a city level, we're providing the largest array of digital evidence to help with investigations. And so when you speak about break-ins, if someone is fleeing a break-in, we're going to catch them, when we have enhanced digital evidence. Brampton will be the worst place in the country to commit a crime because you will be caught and you will spend time in jail. In terms of bail reform, I would note Brampton did lead that advocacy campaign over the last 3 years because we had some heartbreaking cases of people that committed crimes well out on release. I would note that last year the federal government did announce legislation for bail reform, and so we appreciate that the federal government heard our concern that there needed to be change on bail laws in Canada. So I don't see any...
Mayor,
okay,
hello.
Follow-up,
Yeah,
Nitin?
follow-up is... Mayor, follow-up is City of Brampton is planning to start 2 years of pilot project in January 2024. The pilot project is RRL, Residential Rental Licensing, targeting residential rental units. So my question is, why this program is only for only 5 wards, which is 1, 3, 4, 5, and 7? Why not all 10 wards are included in this pilot project? Because many residents raised concern on this. On which criteria these wards were selected for this pilot? If you can answer. Thank you.
So this pilot project is really targeting the landlords that have not taken responsibility. We've got some great landlords, but we do have some absentee landlords who have allowed the property to fall into disrepair. Frankly, we've heard some horror stories and seen horror stories where you have 12 students living in a basement apartment. And so this pilot project is really about bringing as many landlords into compliance. We want to make sure that there's the proper safety standards, that it meets fire code. And so this is another tool, and cities have limited tools to force a landlord into compliance. But we're using the tools that we have to help with this, and the areas identified were the areas where we have the greatest number of illegal rental units. So thank you, Nitin, for calling in. Thank you for everyone that tuned in for this budget update. And I look forward to our budget discussion starting Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. on December 5th.